live right now. There it goes. Good morning and welcome to today's morning stream. Today we're going to have a lot of content pumping out today, so make sure you're tuned in, make sure you're subscribed, and make sure that you are trading like water today, okay? Trading like water is going to be very, very important from here on out. Watching the futures market. No, these daily moves are not, but the weekly moves, I believe, are correct at this point. I'm going to double check that real quick before I say that. Looks like it is, okay? So these are the overall levels that we need to pay attention to for the SPX 500, and you'll notice that we were able to cross on a 2-hour, which can signify what's going to happen with the 30-minute, seeing some kind of bounce, seeing that resistance come in towards yesterday's daily expected move, so very interesting there. But we want to focus on the market, and right now we are seeing that bounce up. We're seeing a 30-minute that wants to possibly curl up and try to go positive at some point, if not make a stronger base. So what we're paying attention to here is the fact that today's daily ranges are massive. I was very surprised seeing these daily ranges. So if you wanted a day where you could see a big move, today's probably the day, or at least bigger swings, today's probably the day, right? So we're going to pay attention to this today as we look at some technical analysis for the SPY Qs, Apple, Tesla, Amazon, Nvidia, AMD, and Meta. Looking forward to getting into some AMC and GME as well. As AMC actually ended yesterday positive, very interesting behavior there. If you look on the right side of my screen, it's literally just like AMD and AMC. I don't know if it's an alphabet type thing, but hey, AMC actually was positive, so that's very interesting. But for these ranges, you do have a massive, massive range for the day. If you need to know how to trade around these, well, the course is both the courses are going to be 90% off down in the description. You can click on either one of those. The one that you really want to get to focus on these daily ranges, these weekly ranges and all that kind of stuff, divergences and everything in order to trade in pretty much any market is going to be the technical analysis. The using indicators, using technicals, that course for $100 is going to teach you how to trade in a market like this one. Now, sometimes you do see that downside. That's where we talk about positioning. As far as today goes, though, 531.98 to the upside, we do a 502.78 to the downside. So these are the levels we should expect to at some point gravitate towards, and we'll pay attention to that for the SPY, see what's happening, because this is almost as big as a weekly range in one day. So if you're looking for a day for a big move, the ranges today are telling you that you could see a big move. Now, I'll take that with a grain of salt. Usually when they are this big, that could be something fishy. There could be like some dud day or something like that. Usually when they're this big, it kind of actually sometimes leans towards a dud, but we'll see. Maybe some good news comes out, maybe some bad news comes out, and we'll have to pay attention to that. Looks like bad news is going to be bad news from here on out. Now, one key thing with volatility, this yet to curl up on the 30-minute, but you notice we're getting close to where we could. We're seeing some 15-minute divergences down here that could say volatility might be coming back in. So as the 2-hour does cross, that's awesome. You can still see reactions of volatility, see prices drop a little bit lower, and then see if that creates that lower high. So for now, the 2-hour has pulled down. That is your first indication that you could see some kind of squeeze happening, but it doesn't mean that that 30-minute can't rotate up for another sell-off. So this is the start of something. What you really need to start to see a squeeze in the overall market is the daily scale to come off, to curl down on this MACD. If that doesn't happen, you can just use this as some support and end up heading higher. So we'll pay attention if there's any kind of bounce in the market, because we need to see if there's weakness in that move, if this is going to continue as volatility remains above 20. All right, so going back over to the SPY, we just noticed there's no real reversal signals, just looking for if that 30-minute can curl up. That would be a good sign. For the Qs, we have a similar thing. 30-minute can curl up, but they are negative, and that's very key to understand. The Qs have a huge range as well, 450.67 to the upside, 420.07 to the downside. A lot going on. We were able to build back into that weekly expected move, so this is where we should expect to bounce. We did, but if we start breaking below that again, that's when I'll be a little bit worried, okay? So we'll pay attention. If there's no reversal signal down here, this can escalate even further to what we've seen right now. Apple, this is very interesting. Apple actually coming down to 197.47 and now starting to react to the upside. Doesn't this look a lot like the Qs? So Apple really showing a look kind of like the Qs, meaning whatever Apple does, most likely the Qs start to do. So we'll see if that can curl up on a 30-minute. As of right now, coming down about 1.33% to the open. Tesla, we noticed this one actually green right now, up 1.39% as of right now. And look at the look of it. It looks a lot like the Qs. So a lot of these stocks that make up the Qs are looking a lot like the Qs. I've just noticed that we see a lot of moves like that happening, a lot of moves like this happening. Nvidia seeing a good bounce here. That is something to pay attention to as that 30-minute rotates up. Well, the 2-hour, you got to see if this 2-hour is able to cross, because this has the divergence point, okay? This has the divergence on the RSI, on the MACD at the same time. So if that curls up, that could be a good sign that we're going to see some positivity. One thing that already saw that positivity a little bit, or saying that there should be positivity, I guess, that there's a probable move to the upside, is going to be AMD. It's saying, hey, I have the ability to go positive here. We'll have to watch this pretty closely. As we look over towards Meta, you're seeing the 2-hour curl down. That's not good news, but as you can see, if we go into a 30-minute chart, it's looking just like the Qs again. So if that 30-minute rotates up, hey, that could happen this morning. Maybe we see a big positive move. We'll find out. As far as AMC and GME goes, this is a great sign, at least the 30-minute curling up. That's the first thing. But the real sign to pay attention is going to be if this 2-hour crosses up. I think if this 2-hour crosses up, yeah, you got a good shot of going positive, which means you have a good shot of seeing something big. Now, we've seen that fight again and again and again once we get up to that, you know, kind of squeeze level, which happens to be 573 for this week. So I would really pay attention here if 30 minutes are starting to roll over or something like that. We've paid attention to that in the past. It's really helped us out. GameStop as well, seeing if that can curl up on the 2-hour, but you notice it's far away from positive territory, so this could be some kind of bounce that actually leads to a drift down. But if this is able to fully go positive, you could see a good move, okay? So we'll pay attention to this. Ultimately, we need daily charts to turn up here. Now, the dollar is slightly moving to the upside, but we'll see if that's able to fade throughout the day. We'll pay attention to the signals here as the dollar increases. If the SPY is going up at the same time, which as of right now it is, so that is something to pay attention to. It means, hey, if we do see a big bounce and that dollar really increases, I would be a little bit skeptical of that move. That's all I would say. We can't really look at much else. The 10-year yield actually seeing some kind of reaction up here, so that tells us that TLT most likely coming down, okay? So we'll pay attention to that as well. Let's go back over to the Qs and just chill here for a moment while we say hi to you guys in the chat. Thank you for joining and thank you for liking the video. Good morning. Thank you for all the information. Of course, Christina, I'm trying to keep you guys aware, trying to just get everyone to learn, and then, you know, nights like yesterday where I can't really make a nighttime video or something like that on YouTube. Hey, you know how to do your research. You can even just probably look at your charts and just be like, what am I seeing here? Does this make sense? Pretty much any idea you write out, as long as you have a plan of how to execute that idea, you should be doing pretty well, honestly. You shouldn't be caught up too much in this nonsense. As the 2-hour did cross over right here on the Qs, that kind of told you, hey, there's no reason for upside on the 2-hour just yet. There's really no reason. Now, the 30-minute might be tricking you out a little bit on this bar right here, so I wouldn't blame anyone for that. These things do happen. That's just going to be a moment where it's like, hey, that's an unlucky one. I didn't have reversal signals with that, so taking this play was a little bit overzealous in my opinion, but it happens. Good morning from the Netherlands. Hey, that's what's up. Who's my favorite player? Edgar Davids is one of my favorite players. He's like the player I watched all the time as a kid. Edgar Davids. Pretty sure. Yeah, he was Netherlands. He was Dutch. Anyway, yeah, so we're just paying attention to this. I understand if people start to get excited that this is starting to come up from this level. I get it, but we need to curl up some bigger charts. We need to see some bigger moves to see the truth. Good morning, Diana. Shogun Solo is here. Now, one thing that did have earnings was Palantir. What are we seeing? Some dramatic upside. All right, so we're getting some upside here. This can curl up some 2-hour charts. Now, that 2-hour is very negative, so what we want to see is the daily. Is the daily able to curl up with this kind of news? Because this could be a sign, hey, we're actually going to go to higher prices for Palantir. Levels on the SPY? No, you're perfectly fine. Keep asking, because I know I didn't have the video last night. The levels for the SPY are huge today. 531.98 for the daily expected move upside, and then you have 502.78 to the downside for the daily expected move. If you need those weeklies, by the way, 548.29 to the upside, and you do have 517.51 to the downside. So if you still want to learn about how to trade around these, there's courses down in the description. The $100 course is going to be what you want to trade in a market like this. But if we just start to do that, then the swing trading course comes in, right? If we do this, we see these moving averages kind of mellow out, and we go like that, kind of go like that. Okay, awesome. That would actually be a signal if this is able to cross for the swing trade. So both of them can come in handy. Pretty much it's just any learning you can do in the market is going to be a good thing. Bubba knows what he likes for coffee. Daily on the Qs are going to be big ranges, by the way, huge ranges. So I expect some big stuff today. But sometimes these big ranges lead to a dead day. We'll see. 450.67 to the upside. Then you have 420.07 to the downside. Big ranges, though. You can see there's tons of, it looks like there's tons of lines in here because all the monthlies and weeklies and dailies, they're all intertwined here. So this is your bottom side monthly. So the likelihood by the end of the month is you end up in these areas, right? So 68% chance to land above this yellow line. You got a lot of time left. So even if it takes us a while to form that base, doing something like this would make sense. Because we can see that volatility, you know, big moves up and down because volatility is higher. Make sure I'm all set up here. About 10 minutes till the open. Bitcoin going to roll over soon. Let's go look at Bitcoin for a moment here. We look at that on a 4-hour. We'll notice that thing has curled up. You're saying this might roll over. So the 2-hour is what you're looking for here. Now, just a quick note. If that 2-hour does create the divergence in a buy zone, kind of our last line in the sand here, if this can form, hey, good things can happen, right? 4 hours can really see some good positivity there if we're able to make some kind of 2-hour divergence. The thing is, if this were to cross down initially, though, it's not, hey, I know that that divergence is going to be made. We don't know that that divergence is going to be made. This could just fall through the floor, right? This could just, boom, crater down. It's Bitcoin. So what we would say is if this crosses, that's really bad. But if it does turn around, I'm ready to react. All right, so if this crosses down, that's really bad. We're going to test the low, probably go make a new one. We don't know how low that could be, right? That could literally go like this. So what we want to do, and Aringa DeBell, thank you so much. Aringa DeBell, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for subscribing. What we want to do is say, this is very bad. This is very bad. This is very bad. But if that turns around, I know I need to be ready to react. That's what I would overall say. First 5-figure trade this year. Bubblicious, congratulations. My goodness. Hey, Greg, that's awesome. Yeah, MACD is a great thing to understand. Everyone uses it, but do you use it properly? Do you really believe in this indicator? Do you know when it's lagging behind? Do you know when volatility is higher, when you should enter the trade, and those kinds of things, right? There's a lot that goes into it, more so than what a lot of people have even taught me. I've just kind of derived it from my own thinking, and that's what I put in the course. I just share that with you guys, and it's really helped me as a trader, so I hope it helps you guys out. Very good buy, smiling. That's awesome. But Bubblicious, very proud of you. That's very, very cool. Congratulations. If economy gets harder, wouldn't it benefit a cheaper airline like Spirit? Spirit, in a way, a lot of these have their own problems. But one thing about Spirit, my friend actually had me look at this because, you know, some of them actually work at Spirit. So here you go. You see these lows. And then what do we see? Well, first we see the little flat divergence that gets you that pretty solid bounce. And then you drop off rapidly, actually creating another point over here. So this hasn't developed enough yet. We haven't seen that price action. But if you do something like that, just this type of move, you actually can get this to curl up. And that would be triple divergence on the 2-hour. So if you look at this on the 4-hour scale as well, you can see that that has it as well on a 4-hour. And then if you look on the daily, you're just looking at that going, ooh, okay, this thing's been beat up for a long time. So actually, weirdly enough, in this area, you can see a pretty solid bounce. Now we just want to take that with a grain of salt, make sure that you know, hey, volatility is high. So if you see a rip up, that can easily rip right back down. So it just means, hey, if that curls up, I need to see dailies curling up. I need to see positivity everywhere across all the charts in order to hold on to that. Because if you make a little 30-minute divergence in here, then you're just going to probably curl over on this 2-hour. You might actually head to lower levels. But the tapering here, pretty nice. Not hating on this tapering at all. We see this kind of going like this, and now it can maybe start to go higher. What I'm overall talking about here is if it does get that reaction, note that volatility is high, so making that stronger base can be there. But as of right now, I think you do have a pretty strong base, and I think if this MACD is able to curl up on the 2-hour, you can see a pretty positive move with Spirit. QQQ's got a lot of shares of Nvidia. Well, then you might be liking today just a little bit as Nvidia actually crosses up. We need to see if the 2-hour is able to cross up. That's going to be a big deal. Yeah, Spirit, I would not, I'm not backing Spirit based on the company. I'm backing it based on the momentum signals. It's just saying, hey, there could be a reversal. You never want to sleep on a company too. It's kind of like GME, right? It's kind of like GameStop. It's like you never want to fully sleep on a company because look what they did. They've done a lot. They're sitting on a bunch of cash now. They're rehabilitating their business, kind of changing the structure. And it could be some good things. There's potential for good things there. Who's to say Spirit's not going to do that as well? You know, you never know when what a company's doing in the background. So you always just want to pay attention to momentum. And then if it's not going to do anything, those things will just curl back down. They will resolve themselves, and you'll be managing your trade, so you'll be just fine. How'd the kiddo do with the doctors? Pretty good. She actually, in the middle of the night, got a pretty bad fever. So we just woke up early. We just spent some time with her. She's perfectly fine. Nothing too bad. Just having a little bit of a rough time sleeping, getting some feverish stuff. So we're just overall, you know, monitoring her, doing everything we should, and then at the same time trying to have some fun with her in the morning. So we woke up pretty early, watched a couple of shows together, and played with her a little bit, trying to get her to roll. But she's no longer in the 1 percentile for weight. She's now in the 4th percentile. That's my girl. And she used to be in the top like 99% for height. Now she's only in the top like 65%. But I'm glad that she's gaining weight. Because they were like, hey, the 1 percentile is there for a reason. It's not a bad thing by any means. They're like, it's still good, but now that she's a little higher up, I feel a little bit better. Thank you, Hector. Apple so weak at the open, Iran war keeping those subdued for more red. I still believe that this is mostly recession. I believe is well, and the other thing was we were noting yesterday how gold was coming down, and the thing is with gold is a lot of your what was it? It was something with the Japanese yen, right? So the Japanese yen, I believe they were borrowing against that, and when those rates actually had to go up, that means they can't borrow to get like USD. So actually the drop in USD could be just because of the yen. We'll pay attention to it. We'll still pay attention to the bottoming signals, but that could be why we saw such a downward reaction from the dollar. So we'll keep a close eye on it. Sure feels like recession, it does, but they keep changing the definition of recession every single time that we go towards it. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, even if we take that out of consideration, we can just say, hey, if we follow the signals, we will be just fine. Yeah, and I think it's a collateral thing, Hector. I think it's overall a collateral thing. I think a lot of these for margins and stuff like that, I think they use gold sometimes as collateral. So we'll see what happens with gold. But usually in an overall crash, you see pretty much everything crash. 20 trillion. Wow. Wow, that is massive. We'll see. We'll see. I'm still going to let them develop. I still have a lot of time, right? I still have a lot of time for this to play out. So I'm not worried about this by any means. I'm just seeing if this actually can see a strong move today. As the reason I'm waiting for that is just because the SPY, the Qs, they have massive moves for the day. They have like a weekly range for one day. That's kind of crazy. It will be blamed on Orange Man and maybe even blamed on you meme stalkers out there. So we'll see. Now no recession, they say. Exactly, that's what you're gonna see. They're scaring it off, and now they're gonna start to subside and be like, oh, that we overreacted. It's not a recession. It's this, and this. Nothing's wrong in the U.S. Blah blah blah. And we're off to the bells, right? We're off to. Sorry, I just read DeBells. So I was like, we're off to DeBells at 8:30. The bell comes up, and then we'll see what happens. That's why we just pay attention to the technicals here, because fundamentally, yes, it's good to have your ear to it, but to make decisions based on just fundamentals, well, if you're looking at news as a fundamental where you were just told that there's going to be recession, there's going to be recession, there's going to be recession, and then if this thing just turns back around, you're going to be taken by surprise. Now, I know we have a lot going on geopolitically. I know that there's like more and more fighter jets being sent out to places from the US, so we got to keep our eye on those things. Those things can affect the market, but for the most part, we just want to look at these signals, see if they're turning up, going positive, and then managing that risk, maybe with the position size, in case you do this, and then say there's a big bomb or something like that. It's like, okay, that just means I need to manage my position size by not getting too greedy with my position, right? Not doing $20,000 if that's not the amount that I have for option trading or something like that. $20,000 in a trade. You know me, I'm doing like $1,000 pretty much per trade now. So not doing too much because I don't want to lose a big amount. And $1,000 is what I assume as my risk right now. Like, I'm not even willing to put $2,000 behind it. I'm like, if I can make $1,000 this week, awesome. I'll be happy with that. With how risky the market looks, oh, that's awesome. And then if this does something crazy, hey, awesome, I'll make way more than $1,000. Sure, but Somrule is there for a reason, though. Yeah, Somrule is there for a reason, and that triggered, weirdly enough, like a month or so ago. But, you know, people saying it's triggering now, hey, we'll take it, because technically you do it off of the 3-month. Okay, that's fine. But we've been saying on this channel, unemployment's what to pay attention to. That ticked up. So now it's, do people ignore that, and we see this go up one more time, and then 3 months later we get another increase in unemployment? Or do we just get some kind of move up, and then something breaks up in these areas and we fall flat? You know, there's tons of things. I would say the bullish scenarios, there's kind of two of them. One, you get up to here, you fail. And then two, you'd get up to here, you kind of do something like this. This would be a pretty solid look for stocks going forward. So that's what I'd really be paying attention to for the Qs. As far as the downside goes, it just goes, hey, this thing might just curl up on a 30-minute, keep curling down, right? Continue the negative trend. As you can see, 30-minute trying to curl up. If that just continues, we can keep heading down if you just keep curling over on this MACD. Hey, Adam, good morning. September rate cut rally. Yeah, I still don't think they do it in August. I think they would more so still lean towards September, because they're going to weigh their options first, I believe. But it's also to say they're going to be very data dependent, as they usually are. Remember, they still can't cut. We can still have hyperinflation come in if they cut. And now you're seeing those yields come down by themselves. So how many people do you think confirmed their rate over the weekend? How many people do you think locked in their rate for a house over the weekend because of this? Genuinely, it's probably a lot. So what does that mean for the housing market? That means that the buyers step back into the housing market. If that happened, then you're going to see possibly housing prices increase, actually. So pay attention to this. AMC actually seeing a little bit of upside, 0.61 up. GME up 2%. Well, now only up 1.4. So we'll pay attention to it. Dow Jones trying to make some kind of base down here, trying to curl up on this MACD. We'll see what happens. Well, it's already curled up. It's trying to really see if we get some kind of bounce with a strong base on, say, a 15-minute. You're probably going to see a little 15-minute rejection divergence. There you go. Boom. That is a sign for a double bottom, but that double bottom is not very big, so this could just be a reaction up. And then we see it curl back down to create the stronger base on the 30-minute, right? We do something like this, then we curl right back down, then we actually head to the upside. We can pay attention to that. Now we just want to see what happens for the day, because there is a big move. So if you're able to do this, it's a little bit less likely to do this, by the way, just because you'll be way up towards this area. You'll be up towards here. And so for you to pull all the way back down, that would be a little bit less likely. Clove dipping, nice. Nvidia seeing a solid move out the gate. Let's go look over at Tesla. That thing's still struggling a little bit there for Tesla. Remember, the 2-hour curling up for Tesla is what we really want to pay attention to here. Now, not the best divergence at these levels, just so you're aware. You just have almost flatness on the MACD, nothing really on the RSI. So we'll have to see what happens with this. Apple really making that move down with that divergence towards the highs, so that was something to read into. Amazon, this one here, and actually Apple's a lot of the time what you want to watch during pivotal moments. So if Apple's able to do some stuff here, if Apple's able to curl up on this 30-minute, I would really take it into consideration what's going on, because you can build up towards that 225, maybe consolidate, and then see that thing turn up, you know, kind of collecting that liquidity in this area. So we'll find out, and we'll see what's going on. Other than that, Palantir now up 11%. And we'll see how that PCC comes out in about 10 minutes. Make sure to like the stream as you come in. I really do appreciate it. And thank you guys for being here this morning. I hope that you guys are having some good trades out there. I hope there's only good trades happening right now. I like Palantir. I mean, the thing with Palantir is its earnings. That's the only problem with it. But from this area, you would say, hey, okay, created a higher low. Okay, headed to the upside. But earnings pretty much 50-50 flip. So you see some good data came out for that. We'll see what happens going forward. The 2 hour able to curl up. What we mainly want to see here is the daily scale. We're down by that 200. We're starting to buy back up. We can go test the point between these highs, maybe make a daily divergence as we would get some kind of triple divergence across the way. So this could be a good move, but it could be brief, and then that's just ripped away. We'll pay attention to what the signals look like in that overall move to see if there's weakness. That can extend for like a whole week. Maybe even, yeah, probably about a week. So I'd look next week, we most likely will set up some kind of divergence if we get that positivity. SPY 30-minute here. We just got to see if you're going to curl back down at some point. Able to get back in the weekly expected move. Q's back in the weekly expected move as well. Apple real quick. Apple is just heading to the downside, trying to turn up on a 30-minute MACD right now, really making the decision right here, heading up with the earnings and then down with the news that came out this week with all the recession scares and things like that. So we at least first need to curl up a 30-minute chart. That hasn't happened yet for Apple. So until that happens, we can't even say, hey, can it make a divergence? Can it do anything? This is just negative, in negative territory. You always have a good probability for a bounce when you are this oversold, but that bounce could be brief. It could get you up towards the center line. It could just move sideways, right? And we can get up towards the center line, curl down one more time, maybe making the stronger base down towards this area. We'll still pay attention to it. We'll see if we're curling up on bigger time frames, right? We got to see if we're curling up on the bigger time frames overall. That will really help us out going forward. Is Bitcoin still seeing the weakness? We just got to see if this 2 hour is able to cross. If you want to watch it closer, even an hourly is probably fine as it's close to that center line. But we are kind of moving sideways here. So even if this crosses, look how we're moving sideways. We're not seeing dramatic selling by any means. Can solidify itself as a higher low on the shorter time frames. IWM falling off a little bit, down by the weekly expected move as of right now. All right, things starting to turn down. Let's look at 30-minute charts then, see if things are starting to roll over. Good morning, Junior. You guys, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get a coffee or something. I'll be right back. And we're back. How about the VIX? The volatility here dropping off on the 2 hour, so that's a good sign. But if this 30-minute curls up, right, that's what I'm paying attention to right now. 30-minute curls up. Now, as you are negative, a little bit more likely to make some kind of lower high. Okay, so we can pay attention to that. But if this 30-minute does curl up, lower high for the VIX would be interesting. It doesn't mean it has to happen though, right? It just means it's a little bit more likely as it is negative. So if this makes a lower high and say the SPY goes and makes a lower low, and then we see that reaction, we actually can see some positivity from that. That could be a sign of the volatility dropping off, so we'll pay attention to that. But right now, for volatility, big thing happened, right? The 2-hour was able to confirm some downside. So right now, we're pulling back in volatility. That's what we need to take from this. Yeah, a little bit weird, but they do have earnings, right? Mara has earnings. So judging by how the earnings went, that's more likely why you're seeing that type of reaction, right? The earnings coming out red. So you're seeing that reaction down, still coming down with the earnings. So that's the difference between it and Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin itself kind of doesn't have earnings. So Mara does. So you can see downside based on earnings. And that direction was chosen, right? So what you want to see here is, do we have a strong enough base to pop up? Well, the 30 minutes still negative. So if that rolls down, then you might be making that stronger base or something like that. If this can go positive, then you see a good move. But there's no real reversal signals in here for Mara. Go look at this for a second. Short on Apple. Let's go look at Apple real quick. Okay, on the 30-minute, we'll see if this is curling. Ooh. Yeah, I could see it. I just would be aware if this is brief. But if Apple's making this move down, it's most likely for the Qs to follow. And then you probably need Nvidia to start giving this up as well. So right now we're just seeing that more downside. Puts on snow as well. Oh, my video's not up. There we go. Dow going red for a moment. No, it's not yet. Still holding the rejection divergence as of right now. Snap, can you even trade this anymore? Yeah, you don't want to kind of like convince yourself this is bad after the earnings. That's all I want to take from it. You're going to see, as you can see, we're keeping the same behavior. So unless this is showing like a very clear divergence, I would not be going near this for me personally, but that's just me. As you can see on the 15-minute, if that thing rolls down, where are you? Way up towards the center line, so you can see another negative move. But it's on a 15-minute, so that could be brief. We'll pay attention, but for the most part, this is not a look that I really would enjoy. Nvidia, though, what you're waiting for here is a 2-hour cross-up. That's not able to happen yet. You notice that it's not able to happen yet. So you're still being patient on this. It could mean we need a little bit stronger base. Maybe we need the 15-minute to curl down for a brief moment, kind of come down to this area, and then we see a reaction up. Maybe we need to test 95.63 again. There's a lot that can happen, but all I know at this point is the 2-hour has not confirmed. So I'm not really thinking about adding to the position at this point. Right now, that would be TLT for me. At the moment, I'm going to hold TLT through thick and thin for a while. Right, I'm holding this based on the monthly chart turning up. As you can see, monthly chart turning up. Okay, I managed to trade in here, made a little bit of money. Now I'm back in that trade, and it's doing well for me. But I think we still have a chance for this to start shooting up soon. As you can see, the daily scale last time I got into that, I could think about doing this, but for the most part, I'm just going to hold on to this bad boy as long as that weekly doesn't really cross back down. I know I can hold on to that and not experience anything too bad. As far as it goes, though, my favorite stock is still Apple. I really like to trade Apple. And we'll see if that curls over on a weekly chart. That's going to be a big deal. Yeah, I think Braun, I think that's not a bad mentality to have. Just kind of be open to the fact that we're in kind of a negative gamma area. So it's like anytime we do buy up, sellers will be lurking pretty much around every corner unless we get some crazy good news, which, like I said today, we don't really get news, right? We don't really get the most news. I would say, if anything, initial jobless claims in a couple days here will be important. Also, I get to go to a concert tonight. I get to go see I Prevail, Hollywood Undead. I'm so excited. And look, volatility looking like it's just about to cross up. Volatility crosses up. We could see some downside for the SPY. How low could that go? Well, all the way to 502. So we'll watch it. It hasn't crossed up yet. It's not crossed up yet. PCC comes out in a second, so I just want to keep my eye on that for a moment. 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, usually that updates right then. Didn't want to update for us. We'll see, maybe it needs a couple more minutes. Ooh, PLTR starting to fade this entire move right now. But this is where you want that reaction. First of all, this is still a great thing to happen. Now you see that dip down. If this can hold up at higher levels, that would be great. But starting to give it up very, very quickly. Could just be a liquidity grab at the highs. Now flipping to positive here, seeing some green. Gosh, I'm thirsty. I need some water. Oh, baby girl did wake up a bunch though. A little tired. Whew. No one said having a kid would be hard. Still just want to pay close attention to volatility turning up. Now remember this as well. Volatility turning up just means bigger swings, okay? It doesn't necessarily mean downside every time. So what you want to see is the SPY able to kind of rotate down on, say, a 15-minute while the VIX turns up? That would be a sign. But this could easily turn up while the volatility is turning up. It just means bigger swings are coming. Usually it comes out right at around 8:45. It just came out. So PCC hitting about 1.16 at this moment. Yes, it is backwards, and we'll pay attention to it. Now, you could be having some funky behavior because of the yen. But as of right now, I'm still taking it for some insider buying as well. Let me go look at something real quick here. Okay, this thing's messing up. Give me 2 seconds. Yeah. $450 for the Qs. Where it sits at 450. Ooh, the daily expected move. Okay. This will be running into a call wall at this point if we get up towards like a 450. So that is where you would expect, if we do see a good move, to consolidate in some way for the day. Tesla ending up rolling down for a brief moment here, so got to be careful with that one. This thing needs to roll right back up on a 15-minute. 30 minutes still rolled up for now. Keep your eye on volatility. That is starting to drop off even more. SPY starting to see some upside. Qs, not the best looking bar just yet, but seeing some upside. Nvidia looking like it goes to fill the gap and then heads right back up. Meta, see if this thing is curling up. It is right now on the 30-minute for Meta. 30-minute swing trade right there. We'll see if this ends up getting some positivity after crossing. If it's able to go positive, we can see some positivity in there. AMC up now 3%. Look at that bad boy moving, while GME sitting pretty flat, but AMC is up by 3%. So we still want to see this 2 hours got to curl up. You need to see that 2 hour gain some positivity here. That would be a great, great thing, wouldn't it? Dow starting to see that positivity come in, and the Dow was the first one to signal the downside. So if Dow can really signal some upside here, that would mean maybe the SPY is going to lag behind just a little bit. Wonder what the puts and calls are for today. 0.98 put call ratio. Looks like call wall at 440, put wall at 435 for the Q. So you're hitting right into that call wall, or that put wall, sorry, 435. Now the next level above that is going to be if you break above 440, I think. Yeah, 440. So if you're able to break above 440, you can see a move towards 450. And actually, that's when the shorts might start to give up a little bit. So we'll see what happens. We still have to see if there's going to be overall positivity. But for the most part, 435 key level, 440 key level for the Qs. AMD actually curled up on the 2 hour, so you saw that curling up. Now you're starting to give it up a little bit, right? You see how that 2 hour is able to curl up. Now you're giving it up. So did the 30-minute cross? That's kind of what you're looking for here. It is crossing as of right now. You got about 9 minutes left in the bar, but if that does cross down, that means it has a little more likelihood to head down for a moment. Remember, anything can happen in the next 30 minutes, so this could just whip right back up. So just pay attention if that's able to curl back up into positive territory, as you would still have the point of divergence across here. We would see if that can just go boop like that, because the divergence is made right here as well with the rejection. So we'll see if this is actually proven to be something to pay attention to. AMC pretty much is always a bear trap. It pretty much is always a bear trap. And it's always like right as the signals look good, you see a bear trap. So I wouldn't be surprised for AMC to fall off. I'd be more surprised to see AMC actually curl up on this MACD and see a big move above 573. That's what would be interesting to me. I don't know if AMD would drop. I'm just paying attention to the signals, guys. That's all I'm doing for the most part with AMD. It's still good on the 2 hour. If the 30-minute crosses down, I might need to manage my trade briefly, right? If I'm in AMD, I'm not. But you can see how that's negative and crossing over in negative territory. Just be very simple with it. That means bad things. If that turns right back around, though, hey, that could mean good things because we do have 2 hour divergence. So that's what I'd be paying attention to for AMD. Just wait till she's a teenager. Not looking forward to teenage years. I know my wife's not. My wife's like, I don't want her to hate me. Alrighty. Let's see. Once again, volatility is still important on the 30 minutes, starting to curl down. Dow starting to see a good move. We'll see what happens with that. SPY starting to see a good move. Remember, we got a big range for the day. Very big range. I guess I should zoom out a little bit so you can see both sides. 30 minutes crossed up, so the likelihood as of right now is the SPY is bouncing. Now, once that goes positive, we can say, hey, the SPY is recovering, right? But if that bounces up to this area, and then we see weakness right away, we could go down and create the stronger base. Then this will be the right timing, right? Timing is more what you want to look for in the market. Holding overnight earnings, ooh, scary, scary. Holding anything over earnings scares me. But hey, if you make a decision, you're good with the position size, you understand what you're doing with earnings, 50-50 flip, then good luck to you. That's all I'll say. I hope it goes well. That's what I would say. I will never hope it won't. Netflix, didn't you have some okay signals here on the 2 hour? Not really anymore. Kind of got rid of those signals. See, it's right as the 2 hour is going to gain some steam. What do we see? A fight from AMC, fight from the upside. So you need this to cross above both these moving averages. Maybe in the next 2 hour bar, I would say today, if that would happen, that would mean some positivity can come. This downside does cause collateral issues. It does cause liquidity issues. Tails it is. That's funny. TLT looking like it might need to pull back on the 2 hour, then maybe we see that next pop higher. I'd really look for TLT to get close to that center line. This going like this, if that pops up again, that could be a sign that the 2 hour has more work to be done in the SPY, right? The 2 hour pops up like this, and then we see that the TLT actually back off, and then we see that come back down to create the stronger base or just fall through the floor, right? So we'll pay attention to a 2 hour move here if it's going to come. You could need to create that stronger base first, right, before you actually head to the upside. Good morning, Trevor. Welcome, welcome, welcome. 200 people in the chat today. Thank you guys for being here this morning. I'm glad that everyone, I look forward to looking at some stocks with people who have the same interest as me. It's a lot of fun for me, honestly. I have a good time doing it. Now we just need to make sure we're paying attention to the correct signal. So if you see anything out there that seems interesting to you, shout it out because it can help us out in viewing, looking around throughout our morning. Right, some people will be like, oh, the SPY is popping. Oh, look at the Dow dropping. Those are the type of things we need to pay attention to. So I'm glad you guys are aware of those things and messaging them in the chat. That's awesome. Volatility dropping off by about 22%. See, just as high up as you go, we start to fall just as fast. We curl over on the daily, that's what we'll pay attention to for volatility. Going to get on, might even pull up some Bloomberg or something this morning. Here I keep seeing things on the UK, like things are just going nuts over there. Now we're starting to see it. I'm seeing a lot of YouTubers posting that it's for sure crashing. It's for sure crashing. And we make an upward move. So I'm not saying that we can't continue. I'm saying that some kind of bounce could come from here. As you start to curl up on these MACDs, that starts to become a definite possibility. But it was a possibility right here as well, right? So we have to pay attention anytime that this does curl back down. Always be aware of what's going on, because if this does curl up and then something happens overnight, that can just cross right back down right away. So it's kind of a time where it's like, have some balls, right? You got to have some balls to take these type of trades, but that's what we're doing. That's what I'm doing. Looking at things like Tesla, looking at things like Nvidia up 3% now. And if that could turn up on this 2 hour, really start to confirm some upside. Now we are within a downward channel, so if we don't break through that channel, right, we're not able to break through, that would be key. Now, how would we break through for Nvidia to head higher if you're looking for a bullish case? I actually think we would just straight up break through this, get towards this zone, then see the retest, and then start to curl up. Right, you can see the area that would be really important here. We can see that liquidity grab that could happen right over here, and boom, you kind of come back down into this area, grab some liquidity, get your retest, and start heading to the upside. But then you got to watch out up here towards this line if you have 2 hour divergence, right? It kind of like never ends. That can take a couple of weeks to form. Volatility breaking below 30 at this point, crossing over on the 2-hour. Just kind of want to see, is it able to cross over on bigger time frames? Daily scale, if that crosses over though, we might get a short squeeze. PCC starting to come down, still above 1. Oh, come on, I gotta have a decent playlist here. There we go. MOAS is trending. Yeah, Spirit on the 2-hour looks all right. No real head and shoulders. If anything, you might have like flagging going on. See if we can break through this. I don't see a head and shoulders. Oh, if he is this. That would be more likely. If I saw that, that would be something to pay attention to. See, now we should assume D until that turns back around. Spicy and some good upside for now. 0.87. There we go. My drawings weren't popping up. Let's click through on some 30 minutes. Actually, let's click through. Yeah, let's click through on some 30 minutes to see what's happening. Apple dropping extremely low levels. Maybe reaching down to find some buyers. We'll see. Tesla trying to pop up, but not doing it. Kind of pulling back with time. If that curls over, bad things. Amazon, same thing, right? Nvidia, you gotta say, same thing. Even though it's seeing that upside. Hasn't curled up on the 2-hour yet. Meta actually curling up, seeing the strong move so far. Microsoft curling up, trying to see a strong move as well. Is this 2-hour divergence? It definitely is. All right, your 2-hour divergence for Google popping up. We'll see if that's able to turn back around. Uh-oh. AMC looking pretty good, honestly. GME trying to curl up on that 2-hour. 2-hour momentum is a thing. Now it's very negative, but SMCI with triple divergence down here at the lows. Right before earnings, we'll pay attention to it, but earnings can be 50-50. Right now you have weakness and momentum, so if that news is good, you can see a solid move. This really looks like a lower high for gold. Bitcoin showing some positivity. Probably need to start curling up on bigger time frames. 4 hour has curled up, so most likely thing for Bitcoin is to bounce until you see that curl down. So 2 hour curls down, bad news. 4 hours curled up, so right now, pretty good news. It does look like more of a correction, Maria. I agree with you. Oh, you're saying for GME. For GME, it's like, you know, make your own decision on it, but I'm not seeing reversal signals yet. 2 hour crosses up. Hey, you always have the potential for a bounce, but the main signal is the daily. You need the daily to curl up here. Earnings is around the corner. Oh, Nvidia as well. Daily curls up for Nvidia, I'd like that, but 2 hour curls up for Nvidia, that'd be a great thing. That'd be some confirmation that the daily can turn up, and you might see that swing trade. Usually yes, but usually I like the 2 hour confirmations. That's what I've always used when I see volatility higher. Hourlies, you can make triple divergence. You can do all kinds of stuff on hourlies. Like even this one here, it's very flat. I would say this is like potential there. It's the first real big signal, like bigger than the 30-minute. You have the divergence, all that good stuff. So I would just say manage to trade closely. Sava been moving. Sava's moving down now. 30-minute cross out. This just means 30-minute pullback. Yeah, if this does curl down, curl back up, it might be one to watch. Hey, that would add up to my narrative where they actually do send stocks higher to the end of the year, or at least for a couple of months. That would be a fucking miracle. See what the Dow's doing. Dow's testing the high now, so I want to see if this breaks above. It's still pretty far away, but... Alright, you're starting to break through that high. We'll see what happens. The Dow, the Dow's been giving us hints which way the market's really going to go. God, I went to the gym yesterday and I am sore. Never been saved, I'll never come closer. All day. I do lift. I used to be a lot stronger. I used to be able to like deadlift like 315 3 times. Used to be able to bench like 255 3 times. Not no more. I'm trying to get stronger in my shoulders because I've dislocated both shoulders. I've dislocated this one 5 times. Maybe 6. Maybe it's 6. I've dislocated this once, and I have a snapped in half collarbone that you can see it. It's all bulky right there. It healed real bulky right there. Oh yeah, let's look at this one, by the way. Ooh. That 30-minute curls up. DJT could see something good. That can go positive. I'm actually I like the tapering. We kind of got rid of that for a second. Rejection divergence on the 2 hour. Interesting. Oh yeah, I do all my rotator cuff. I have a band here so I can do it in the morning. I actually might do some real quick. I'll do some while streaming. Rescue me. One, two. Yeah, so like pretty much every workout I do has rotator cuff exercises in it. Because all of my shoulders are out of whack. SOS. You got my SOS. Gotta get into hot yoga. Tesla made a sharp bounce. It's kind of wicking up. We'll see. Still need that 2 hour to confirm up. You don't have the best reversal signals here. You can see how flat, even down that is right now. My SOS, you rescue me. I've sang in front of hundreds of people. I'm not as good anymore. I used to really sing back then, but sticking out. I dumped my motorcycle, broke down. Yeah, mine was a soccer injury I had when I was like 16. We were playing against an all-Mexican team and just in Texas, and this dude like grabbed my arm with like he grabbed it, and then he scissor tackled me because I was like about to go score a goal. And I landed, he held my arm like this when I landed, and it just snapped my collarbone on this side. So I've snapped this collarbone, I've chipped this collarbone twice, and I've dislocated both shoulders. So my shoulders are screwed. Oh, will you let me up? Yeah, it sucks. It is awful. I would not wish it on anyone. Sleeping hurts. Julia, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Thank you for subscribing. Yeah, I wouldn't wish it on people. I had to go. One time I dislocated, no one was around. I had to like go to my neighbor and be like, hey, can you pop my shoulder back in? Because I sleep on my side. Spicy and a pretty solid move though, 1.1%. Q is getting that about 1% move. You can go all the way up to 450. So remember 440 though. 440 is your first call wall. And we're hitting that right now. 440.92. So we tried to break above it, come back below it. That's your first call wall. She had to shower those shoulders. She had to lube you up. I don't know why I made this in red. That's what I'm seeing. Anyone else seeing this? If we're gonna head higher. If we're gonna head higher for a couple months. That's what I'm seeing. About an hour and 15 minutes left of this. Remember, guys, today's a big day. Today's a big, big day. Remember that. I'm glad that some people are subscribing, and make sure, Julia and a ring at a bell. Make sure you guys are turning on those notifications. We will be going live for a closing stream today. And then later today, we're actually going to put out a YouTube video. So lots of content coming out today. And so pay attention. Make sure you have those notifications on. I'm working hard for you guys today. I really tried to put aside some time. Yeah, I just want to get out of this. Right? I just want to get out of that. Of course, Maria. Allison saying hit that like, fam. A lot of the ladies showing up to trade today. I hope you guys are having some good trades out there. I always wonder if ladies look at the same stocks. I'm assuming you do. Oh, yeah, I think you had me look at this one before. First of all, 30-minute divergence. Has that curled up the 2-hour? That's awesome. I love it, Maria. Love it. I assume you did. But it's always interesting to see what different people are looking at. Holding back a bit for now. I think that's perfectly fine. You might just see a good swing trade signal when all this is done. So being patient, swing trading, you got to be patient. And if you were patient till now, you might just go look at something like Nvidia and be like, hey, yeah, this is a great move. But if that daily just crosses up, hey, I can hold that for a month or so. Look for reversal signals in it. Apple, see if that gives you the swing trade. Patience is always a good virtue in trading. I hate this town, it's so washed up. Don't give a fuck. Nobody's no, the proprietary license for the... We're giving driver's licenses to illegal immigrants now. Interesting. That's what I'm saying, short Fridays. That's what I'm saying. That's all they need to legally vote. Exactly, now they have an ID. Good morning, PM. That's true. That's really all they need is a form of ID. Oh shit, my bad. I was just talking that whole time. God dang it. Yeah, that's my bad, Mark. I don't know, Mark, of a thing that can text you for good trade setups, but you'd also want to vet those if you do find it. Make sure they're not like all fundamental. Make sure they're not all telling you to buy Nvidia at highs. You know, kind of look at what they're saying for a little while first, probably. Congratulations, IK. AMD's gonna do some fake outs here, huh? Gonna get a mansion, a jacuzzi, a theater to watch my movie, couple whips and lots of fancy things. The kids they call the Goonies. No. Do a fun trade? I'll think about it. I was thinking about DJT for a fun trade. My fun account actually looking pretty decent, so I'm like, I need to do something fun. Candy paint with upside on top. Whoa! You got the 30-minute divergences, you've got the good tapering down here for the double bottom, and now, boom, see if that 2-hour can turn up. Now you can start to maybe get a daily bounce if this thing sees some strength, gets above this high. That'd be great. Wow, GME is so close. AMC is so close. Amazon? Not the best signals here from Amazon. One divergence down here at the low, but you haven't been able to break out in any way. After a major drop, I don't even play divergence down here. I'm just like, it's a big drop. You can see a big pop for sure, but it's just a little bit riskier. You're going sideways. So 30-minute curls down, bad things, all right? But if that 2-hour can finally curl up, that means that 30-minute divergence has something to say. You can see a decent move. Volatility really starting to drop off. Ooh, dropping off. Still pretty high PCC. Came down to our 206.67. Some rejection divergence down here, but very, very oversold rejection divergence. So you do have potential to turn up from here. See if that daily can confirm some stuff and then manage the swing trade. Still below the 200, so a little bit risky. Oh, I think it's semiconductors still. Tech semiconductors. I think it'll be the same problem. Down by the 200, you see the swing? It'd be a good swing there. Oh, and in this area, you could be aware, though, of what negativity can come. Lay me down on a... Palantir given the first signals of the swing trade. You gotta ask God. Come on, take it anyway. Give it to you. Take some way. Where's the housing sector? Daily just crossed for this. We'll need another couple of hours here. Still for BITO, I like to look at Bitcoin. That's seeing a solid little swing here. 4 hour was able to cross, right? Now, if you're looking at this, it might look a little bit different, but you can still do some technicals on it. 4 hour divergence. 2 hour no real divergence or anything. So if you do pop, you could drop again. Been beat up for a while, but you see the daily divergence. This could see the big move. I need to wash my hands real quick. I'll be right back. Don't worry, we're back. This would be the gap up towards that 532, which is towards that daily expected move. So if we get up there quickly, we'll look for a 30 minutes to roll over. AMD down 2.4, so this is where that 30-minute curling over, you gotta read into it. Now we gotta say, is that gonna turn back around? But for now, downside, most likely option for AMD. Nvidia kind of consolidating, I would say, towards this high. AMC and GME starting to give up just a little bit of the gains there. Volatility, still got to pay attention if this curls up at any point. Childish Gambino got me dropping like the NASDAQ. There's tornadoes, yeah, but like seasonal tornadoes for sure here. But like they usually don't hit the city, they usually hit the outer, like urban, like little mini cities, outer towns and shit like that. That's where they mostly hit. They don't really, like, since I've been alive, I don't think we've had one hit Wichita itself, hit the city itself. But yeah, it's nice. I like it a lot. I have lived in other places. I've lived in near Kansas City. I've lived in Atlanta. I've lived in Pennsylvania. None of which I would suggest. None of which I would say are better than where I'm at now. This is much more chill. I like the chillness now. But Pennsylvania was one of the worst, I would say. But I was in like Scranton. I don't know, spicy avocado. They're trying to turn up. You got 57 minutes left in the bar. 57 minutes left in the bar, but that is the start of the confirmation. Main confirmation is going to be that 2 hour. I believe that's the same for Microsoft. Microsoft not really showing the best reversal signals. Oh yeah, someone asked about XLU. Starting to come down to lower levels here. All right, so we pull back out to the daily scale. We can see big daily divergence here. So I think the SPY might do something like this. It really might. But if XLU starts to drop, that means pretty much if XLU and the SPY start to drop, that means everything is starting to turn down pretty much. We'll keep an eye on it. I don't think there's 2 hour divergence yet. Yeah, not really 2 hour divergence yet. Kind of flat up here, but still up. So you could see one more reaction up. See if that's given away. For DJT, I didn't mind the look of DJT. I really didn't. I think that 2 hours there for the rejection now. I think your 30 minutes giving you some reversal signals here. Telling you, hey, if I curl up, I can see positivity. It's right by the center line. It's right by the center line for the RSI as well. So for both the MACD and RSI, if I can just see a good move, I'd say you take out this high, then you're probably confirming, hey, I'm back in that positive trend. We'll see. Oil's crossing up? No, I haven't actually. Let's go look at SoFi and then we'll take a peek over at oil. Okay. Arkansas, I do love my mom and pa. Oh, I love that song. Leave me on mine. You're the apple of my eye. SoFi's not looking good. I mean, maybe if the daily can turn back around, all the other short signals, I don't think it looks very good, but just not the best reversal. You could have a rejection here, see that upside is a slightly higher low, but just not the best, easiest look for me. Hey, congrats, Mark. I need to go on vacay. Let's go look at oil for you, Mark, so you can get back to vacationing. Hey, look at that 30-minute holding a little higher low there for you. 4 hours starting to turn up here. You have kind of flatness on the RSI. Not the best look for oil, but we would see how we would head higher if oil is going to see a big move, right? You see that? You see it, boom, right to there. Do something like that. That's how I would see it playing out. Now, the other option is, there is another option here. You need to make that stronger base for the time being. Right, so if that 4 hour reacts up, and then you curl back down to create that stronger base, then you curl up, create that nice W shape there. I think that's possible as well. Downside doesn't look the most likely. The way we're going to see downside is if this 2 hour starts to just curl down, but it's already rejecting, so. Love Your Mom and Pa, yeah, it's such a good song. Really? 40%? %, though. I mean, I guess the daily swing trade will be there. 40% from here? Sheesh. That'd be a big move. Yeah, Meta's one of the ones that's confirmed the upside, right? On the 30-minute actually was crossing up, going positive, so that's a little bit different than the other ones. As far as it goes for Tesla, Tesla's struggling a bit here, right? Not curled down on the 30-minute just yet, but also not curled up on the 2 hour yet. This is the main signal right there. Boom, 2 hour curls up. Spirits in my head and I won't go. So my real thought on Tesla is look for that 2 hour to cross up. I think positivity will come. Daily scale, if this turns up, swing trade, right? If we really want to be patient with it, hey, look. Ooh, big bar like this, another bar like this. Okay, now we're going, ooh, okay, swing trade. Ooh, SPY. SPY moving, which means volatility should be dropping off pretty significantly. Dow running too. Damn. Let's see if SPY can get out of this zone. Serve robotics. Given that curl up of the 2 hour, even hourly swing trade could be there, right? Hourly swing trade's there. Then you want to see that confirm on a 2 hour. Look out for divergence, but pretty solid look there. You can't complain about that. Was yesterday the day to buy? I think with the look of this type of behavior and yesterday going outside of the weekly range, yesterday it would have made sense. I could see how people could put it together and buy, yes. So I'm still in my calls, but didn't really add anything extra here. Yeah, this is where you have that 68% chance to bounce, right? So as you get to here, now you have a likelihood to go like that. And then you want to see, is that breaking down again? But for the most part, it's just, hey, 68% chance for a bounce. You're getting that bounce. SPY seems to be struggling at the top of the zone. It is. It needs to break through. Oh, I like this look. I like this look, Tina. Wham. I like this. I like this. I like this. I like all of this. Is this daily about to turn up? That daily could turn up very soon. I'd watch because you're getting some confirmations here. If you continue that positivity today, you might have a confirmation. Sure, you can consolidate and then head higher. But for the most part, boom, right in here. Can I draw? There we go. I like the look of that. Oh my god, his feelings just begun. Saying things I never said, or things I never done. Then AMC on the 2 hour, 48 minutes left in the bar. We'll see if something strong can come from here. You can't trade it on Robinhood? That's unfortunate. Alright, TLT looking like it's gonna rotate down. And look how we're going further inverted now. Further inverted now. So, when we get further inverted, the market goes up, and that's what's gonna happen here. Looks like that's what is happening right now. We'll see if that changes, actually. That's the way to say it. Breakthrough 524.75. Then you can maybe see that upside. Really, though, you need to get through this. You need to really see that strength. Because right now, it still looks like, hey, 30-minute building up to the center line, curls down, then we curl back up, right? Build up center line. So the 30-minute crosses down as we're close to that center line. We should expect more negativity. But right now, it's just starting to cross that center line on the RSI. ARB. What is this? Oh, gas futures. Usually I like the bigger time frames. So one thing to be aware of is the 2 hour did cross up. Hey, we could be recovering, right? We could be recovering as the 4 hour is curled up here. You could just see that take over. For now, though, for the downside, you want to see if this crosses at any time. You could make a quick little strong base and then start to head up. That's all I would see here necessarily. That's like really it. Now you do have 2 hour divergence. That's, or no, I'm sorry. You would have 2 hour divergence, but the 4 hours already crossed up. So if this 4 hour is something to say, you could see that positivity come in. Maybe you go to the daily scale, you just look at this and you go, hey, as that curls up, gets above all the moving averages, swing trade. Maybe that goes positive here. Gas gonna go up. Gas gonna go up. Are they gonna cut too early? Why is gas gonna see a huge upside there, maybe? It has potential, Banana Sam. It definitely has potential there. But why would that? Oh, well, I guess I could go up with war. World War III could cause a lot of these things to go up, but it also could be if we cut too early or we're forced to cut too early, we could experience hyperinflation, actually. Looks like it a little bit. We still want to be aware of what's going on and how this thing could take place. It's going to be a fake around market, so we're still seeing puts in there. Leads me to believe we could see more upside. We could see some squeezing. And if people keep trying to short it, then more and more squeeze you get. But for the time being, 30-minute, if this can go positive, I'll feel more comfortable. But if that stays here and doesn't go positive and then just rolls back down, we could create the stronger base, right? But if we can go really positive, that'd be nice. You could go like this, go positive, then you have a higher likelihood of a lower, higher low. If we can do that, dip back down, then you have a higher probability for the higher low. So now for certain things across the board, we really got to see if some 2 hours are crossing up. Nvidia seeing a strong move. Uh-oh. Now it's funny because Tesla's kind of lagging behind on all this, but Nvidia 5% up so far. I don't remember. I think we looked at Sava, but Sava for the most part, I think this is extremely, extremely overbought, and I would not chase into that. As it's been positive a lot, you can look for those 30-minute pullbacks, right? 30-minute pullback, big move, right? 30-minute pullback, big move. So 30-minute pullback, big move. Now you do have earnings, so you got to be careful around then, but as of right now, you're confirming, hey, 30 minutes pulling back. And Nvidia is what we were going over a second ago. I want to pay attention to that, but the 2 hour curling up is the main signal here. You bet, Sadek. Look like SPY breaking out of the zone. It looks like it is breaking out of the zone here for the SPY. But remember, a lot of the time when you break out of a zone, you retest it in some way. So even if we do see this, we could go like that and then see that springboard up, right? We go, whoa. Because when you break through a zone, usually you want to retest it. Now, if this is just going to V-shape, then that might not happen. Maybe it just goes boom. That thing just goes boom. I'm kind of optimistic for Nvidia. I would be. You have 2 hour divergence. I definitely would be. If that 2 hour confirms, I'd be saying, hey, we might get a daily swing trade. We might get Nvidia to an all-time high still by the end of 2024. Again. Now, we'll just have to see. Once it gets to here, we got to pay attention. We're going to get more data. We're going to get more stuff out there. So we'll see. Ooh, is that going to fail? We'll pay attention. Just because the daily scale is pretty low, so you do have a good likelihood to create some kind of lower high, so we'll pay attention to that. Earnings is going to be a big deal. And I think people think like, oh, around Nvidia earnings, you can just buy calls and everything's good, but you never know when that's going to change, so I won't be doing anything around earnings. Tell me one more night to get this. We've had a million nights just like this. Daily swing trades. Apple could collect all those. Tesla. Amazon is far away, so not really that one. Nvidia. AMD's doesn't look the best. Meta's looks good now. What determines the short squeeze are if people are overly short, if people have too many puts. If there are too many puts in the market and then you see the market go up based on unexpected news, that can be, say, a gamma squeeze. It could be buying that begets more buying. And then as price gets high enough, it's just like with AMC and GME. As price gets high enough, well, then those people who are short start to exit those positions, start to maybe even close out and buy into the position to the upside. So it's more so a is there extreme buying in a stock like Meta for now? If people are short on Meta, they're probably already thinking, oh crap, right? If you shorted Meta even here, you're thinking, oh crap, I really hope this reverses. But if you're just holding that or adding to that position, that might just fuel the fire. Have anything, damn. So we can look at some stuff. Let's look at Meta. Meta actually has a lot of calls towards that 500 level. And then really the start. Nvidia has a ton of calls actually at 115. There are some big calls in these stocks for some reason. So even though we're seeing that PCC higher, we're noticing in these individual stocks like Nvidia, Meta, the ones that are seeing upside, there are some big calls. 115, right? 115 up here has 114,000 contracts. That's crazy. Running into our monthly expected move again. See if we could use that as resistance. I think now the 30-minute is still important. Let's watch the 30-minute because if these things start to curl over, that means the 2-hour won't curl up. So Nvidia as well, if that 30-minute curls down, not necessarily going to curl up. Tesla curling down, still coming down. Still interested in DJT for the fun play. I see you. Ooh, that's confirming. I might do a fun play. What'd you take? What did Short Fridays take? You take a 39? All right, we got to make it a fun play though, so we got to use less of an expiration than what you're doing. All right, I'll say 39 in 2 weeks. Let's see if it happens. Fun play. Fun play. Let's see if DJT can get to 39 in 2 weeks. Not waiting for the bar either. This is an extremely fun play. Dollar for the most part coming up, now dropping off. So, starting to drop off again. Volatility now down 30%. UVXY really suffering today. You could argue it's building a cup. It's just this might violate a little bit, but for the most part, this is just the area you want to get to. Right towards that daily expected move. If you can pile up there and then break through, that would be a good sign. That's all I want to take into consideration. I think all-time high is possible as long as something doesn't break in the next, like, let me see, 2 hour, right? So let's see, from this area, right, for us to go positive, maybe a direction like this, right? We'll do a steep one. For us to go positive, it's going to do that. That's going to take until tomorrow, right? So if by tomorrow this thing is not curled up, then we need to say, is the 30-minute crossing back down for the stronger base, right? If that's not crossing down for the stronger base, okay, 2 hour can run for a bit, and then we want to see if that's going to curl down at any time. Maybe it does something like this, and we need to pay attention. So as long as nothing horrible happens, I'd say towards that 550 level, I think you're going to be okay. But you always need to consider that it could just turn down to make a base. Yeah, we looked at Apple, but it was a little while ago. We can look at it again real quick. Apple turning down on the 2 hour, kind of flat, but no real divergence down here. So if that turns up, okay, awesome. But the 30-minute, you need that to curl up and go positive first. You haven't... I guess you could say this might be a higher low, but for the most part, you haven't really created that strong base. So the main signals that you could pay attention to if you really want to be patient, see if this is going to go, test this high, go make a new one. Just look for the swing trade for Apple, right? The swing trade for Apple, very, very simple. If you need to know the entries for a swing trade on the daily scale, there is a link down in the description. $50 for that course for swing trading. We'll just tell you exactly how to do it. That one's very clear cut. The other one's more how you learn how to actually like be a diligent trader, in my opinion. Bigger time frames are technically not in a downtrend. If you just zoom out, you're still within the upward channel. You see this. So really, you're in this big channel, kind of, and then you're in this to the upside as well. This line's not... we'll leave it. So you see, you're still within kind of a channel here, so you do have that opportunity to go bam. That curls up on this MACD, daily swing trade. Same thing goes for Tesla, right? If Tesla can get above the 200, cross up on this MACD, swing trade. Awesome. Go test the high, 269. Awesome, OP. I hope that was helpful. I made good money in July selling covered calls, but cautious of a big upside. Yeah, upside could be potential here. There is potential for upside here, so... What you more so want to see if you want to, say anything bad's going to happen is, well, it's 30 minutes been beat up for a long time. Maybe that sees a reaction and then curls back down. That's when you would say, okay, more downside is coming. Because you're the only thing I know. All right, Nvidia really hitting the top of the range there. Top of the range acting as resistance as of right now. 2 hour not curled up. AMC only up 1.92, not able to curl up the 2 hour at this moment, not able to give you all of the swing trade signals before the lagging one, so not able to get above the center line yet, not able to get above the moving averages. It is negative territory, so on the shorter time frames, you're going to be in a negative trend. Okay? So on the shorter time frames, you can see how the uptrend was given away. Look at this. Low, just do it very simply. Low, 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 higher low, higher low, higher low. We give it up. Now you have a low, lower low, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Now you're just dropping. All right, so you've created the next lower low. Now you want to see if that starts to change. Right now on the 2 hour, you are in a negative trend. It is down, yes. But if you zoom out to the daily scale, you're like, okay, if you kind of take out this one, major lows, like, right, big pullback lows, you'd more so say, hey, low, low, maybe a low, and maybe you're trying to beat that right now. But have you really, like, you have, like, closed below that area, but this could just turn back up. Because overall, you're still above the 200. You're starting to go negative, yes. So you are in a negative trend right now. You're just looking because you're in the area where that could flip back. So it pretty much means, like, if we go make that lower high, like a good one, then we turn down and break that one, then you're confirmed for sure in a downward trend for the SPY. Yeah, so the shorter time frames, yes. The bigger time frames, you're still pretty positive overall. Kind of the same with the Qs. If you take the major lows here, right? Major lows, boom, right? Maybe boom right here, higher low, higher low. I would say this one more so than this, but this is a low, but this is more of a major higher low. And now you're coming up to an area. Have you even beaten that low yet? Well, no, we haven't, right? We haven't beaten that low yet. So we could get that reaction up. If we get that reaction up and then we beat that low, that would take you out of the channel and probably cross you below here. So pay attention on this rotation up. We'll see. Yo, he's crazy. He's crazy. Not only that, they're seeing evidence that he had this plan in the works for like years. Like he was planning this for years. Like not just sitting and then randomly made it. Like he literally started working on it like 3 years ago, potentially. Which makes sense. If you think nothing's gonna happen and that frustrates you, make a plan. He's a mastermind, it seems. Yeah, everyone's going to hate on him because the stock's not going up right now, but maybe it's playing out exactly how it should. No one knew how it's supposed to play out. Maybe it is. One of those signals might be GME curling up on a 2-hour. Look at that. AMC curling up on a 2-hour. That's what you need to pay attention to, I think, for now. Then if that crosses back down, pay attention again. That means most likely downside. La 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 love you. And as this 30-minute for the VIX keeps going lower, if you do turn back up, lower high is still the most likely option from the 30-minute. Now, if you curl up other time frames, that's a different story. But if the 30-minute just pops and drops, yeah, that's more likely to be a lower high. Confirmed green on DJT. Woo! Good job. We'll see if this thing sees a move. Just gotta see if these 30 minutes ever rotate back down. We're hanging out at the high. That's not a bad thing. We just don't ever check. We need to break out from that area pretty clean here. That'd be nice. I just don't know what news that'd be on. Sipping on you, sipping on your love. 1 hour about to turn up for DJT, for the SPY, for the Qs. Qs is already turning up. Tesla might pull it off soon. Amazon's starting to see that reaction. Okay, who asked about Amazon earlier? Whoever asked about Amazon earlier, pay attention. You could be getting some kind of bounce if this hourly turns up. You're not out of the woods yet, but it is the first signs of a bounce. Nvidia already crossed up. Holding a little divergence there. Little divergence here for the hourly. That is something to pay attention to. AMD not confirming down again. Confirming the divergence, then not unconfirming it just yet. But on the 30-minute, you would say, hey, most likely direction down. If that turns back up, though, you can see, okay, now we need to look at the bigger time frames, see if that continues. Meta curling up on the hourly now. Microsoft, everything pretty much. Google, solid hourly divergence here. See if that can see some positivity. Netflix, AMC already confirmed up as well. This is technically where that divergence will be made. It's even. And this is slightly up, but not slightly up on the MACD. SMCI confirming some hourly divergence as well. We'll see. 2 hours what I really like for confirmation though, guys. Hasn't done it. GME hasn't done it. AMC hasn't done it. I'm pretty sure Meta is going to, but Nvidia hasn't done it either. How big are your fund plays? I'm gonna put like 500 bucks. 500 bucks behind DJT. The fund account's looking decent, so I'm just gonna see if I can make a good chunk there. See if something crazy happens. Oh, I think so. I've been saying that this is a fake crash for a couple of days. Now, it takes some time for that to play out, but now we're seeing reversal signals from Nvidia. If those actually do confirm, I think we have ourselves a short-term bottom, and then we have to pay attention if this rolls back down, or if this is able to build back up over time like that. And short Fridays, I'm pretty much like, hey, PayPal made us some money that week, so let's try it again with DJT. Yeah, Tesla's kind of stuck, isn't it? I think Abuela just got here. All right, guys, we have about 25 minutes left in the stream, and make sure to have your notifications on for later as we will come back for the closing stream. The AMC Stock, I still see an average. That's weird. Because sometimes you just need to, well, it's not saying a bad thing. It's just saying, like, the reason you buy and sell is to mitigate risk as well. So Spicy Avocado, you might have saw something coming down, you sell it. And then what? By the time momentum's confirming it, it could be right back towards that price. That's not bad. That's not bad to do. It's mitigating risk. Alan wants to be pet. You wanted some pets? Who's my little wolfie? Who's my little wolfie? He's just a little guy. Little fat, chunky guy. Singing in the shower. Dow's still screaming, man, so... Now you just want to see, are those bigger time frames confirming downside? That's it. You can always see pops, but as those bigger time frames curl over, less likely to really go like that. More likely to see that lower high situation. So even if there's a pullback, you could see that lower high, but you haven't even seen things curl up yet. So this has not curled up, which means, hey, downside's still the most potential. Now we got to see if these 30 minutes can hold. If 30 minutes start to reverse back down, we still have to be cautious for a little while. Excuse me. Tesla finally seeing some green versus egg. AMD not having a good time. Even confirming everything, not having a good time. Google flashing back to positive as of right now. See if that's able to curl up here. Let's look at my 2 hours though. 2 hours need to see the real strength. Because till these 2 hours curl up, we can always roll over on a 30-minute. PCC down to 1.04 now. Still high. Maybe I'll take an off day from the gym and go shooting a little bit. Been doing my dry fire drills. Hollywood Undead. Oh yeah, let's go. Oh, sorry, my bad. This is who I'm seeing tonight. At 7. God, I'm so excited. I used to listen to Hollywood Undead in like high school. Yeah, and we're just looking into it. I think it's, if it takes the market maker off guard, then at least you're going to go up and make like a lower high. Because if Okay, here's how it works. I'll tell you how this works. I'll tell you how crashes work, like every time, okay? Crashes all the time have a downward pressure. This is what I was calling it yesterday. It was like in a scary movie when someone jumps out from around the corner and you're scared, right? You're like, oh God. And then it's your friend and you're like, oh, my friend's messing with me. And then you guys walk down the hall and the serial killer in the movie or whatever comes out and hurts you guys. That's what it is. And so where we're at right now is in the woo, thank goodness. I think we're about to experience a woo, thank goodness. Now, is that going to be a lower high or is that going to be an all-time high to really fake people out? We could extend it for quite some time. So what I'm getting at here is this is how crashes work a lot of the time. You see the downward pressure. This is a scare that makes sense. But rich people lost money on this move. So because rich people, market makers all across the board, everyone that's rich, they lose money on this. So they say, okay, let's pump it higher. Let's force the stock to go higher so we can get out of our positions. All right, abuela's here. You think it wasn't big enough? Well, then what we need to pay attention to, that means that this isn't a strong enough base. That means that we might still be flagging, right? We might still have this flag, and I think we still have that structure. So if we're going to head lower, it still would make sense, right? All we would see is the 30-minute builds up to here, crosses back down, and then maybe we create that stronger base. That's what I would have to say. And then maybe this is initial jobless claims, right? You all right, the song plays anybody to it right at you, but pointed right at you, but making everything rowdy like a classroom. And the reason I'm kind of thinking about this too is because Apple holds a big weight. Apple is something that really you can see which way the market's going. So we'll see, because this isn't a very strong base. So if Apple does this and then falls back down, it would make total sense. So right now, looking for that to actually bounce. It hasn't even bounced yet. But usually if the Dow is moving, then the move's pretty real. You're not really holding any flagging anymore. You're breaking above it. So we'll see. But all you need to watch, volatility. See if that's able to turn back up. And then I think if this is, then we're going to see that lower high scenario that really fakes people out to the downside. And then you see that turn back up. But if volatility does turn up here, you want to treat it like, hey, things could crash. Doesn't mean take a trade. It means treat it like, hey, things could crash. But if that turns back down, I know that this might base out and we might actually be seeing some kind of short squeeze soon, right? So we have to pay attention to this very closely. So that could mean like, oh, look down here, and everyone goes, oh, it's going to crash, it's crashing, it's crashing, it's crashing, and then pop. Everywhere I go, always know. There it is, number 5. This is it. I wonder if they still sing this type of stuff, or if they still play this stuff. And all the bits in the hood, come on, wave and shake your hands. So we gotta see, now things are starting to get by their center lines. You see that? So this is where we really gotta pay attention, see if 30 minutes start to roll over. One thing that can hint that is if the VIX starts to pop, but we're not necessarily seeing that. We're not seeing the VVIX pop either, so. Same thing with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin is able to see some kind of drop here, that's kind of like the 30-minute here for Bitcoin is the 2 hours. See that dip down into this zone again? Then you make that base. Then Bitcoin might actually see that strong move into the end of the year. Palantir showing some good upside now with that. Hopefully that's not giving up, but right now starting to wick up a little bit, so. LUMN. 350 puts. It's getting pretty excited before the earnings. No, it's not necessarily reversal signals. You do have a 2-hour divergence forming. So this could be an overzealous move to the upside. We'll see. Earnings, was this leaked in some way? We need to look at that, but this is a 50-50 flip. Getting a little overzealous to the upside. Starting to see if that's going to base out. For now, though, if you looked at the hourly, that thing curled down. Okay, awesome. Swing trade, boom, upside. Now you're seeing that divergence point. So even 30-minute, you might have it as well. Very, very good move. But it's before earnings. Very fishy. Not a ton to say here besides this. If I was in calls, I'd be thinking of this as a get-out-of-jail-free card before the earnings. Now, as long as you're in puts, it's like, well, anything can happen with earnings, so you got to assume this is really going against you right now. Yeah, so if you want to be like a go against the crowd kind of guy, well, then that would say downside, right? But other than that, it's still a 50-50 flip. Oh, I cleaned up my desk. I cleaned up thoroughly yesterday. I cleaned my desk very thoroughly, so I don't know where the coin is. Nvidia sold off quick, little pump I was looking for. See if these 30 minutes can rotate over. It means we might make that stronger base. Yo. Oof, oof, oof. Hey there. Do we have anything in here? No real reversals. So what you can do for the time being to see if that 30 minutes going to rotate over is, well, if this 5-minute rolls down and isn't able to roll back up. Right now you kind of have like the cup and handle situation going on here on a 5-minute chart. So if this does curl over, which I think it's likely to, you can see that is going to curl up into positive territory again, right? See if that can reach down, maybe come into all of this, the top of this, come down into that area, and then see if that's able to curl back up. Same with the SPY. SPY getting a little overzealous to the upside. So if you're going to see this break down, well then, ooh. But for now, seeing if that can curl up. This is a positive 5-minute. But it's just that, it's a 5-minute, so. Die. I like this though, the curling up of the MACD, boom. Then we see positivity as it goes positive. That's awesome. So you just want to see what this selling looks like. Is it like this, right? Or is it just like this? Maybe Nvidia as well, right? Nvidia as well. See if that selling is really like piling on, or are we just rejecting from this level, coming down to grab some buyers to then break through it? That's what I'd look for here. See if there's any signals on the shorter micro scale here. I would say this chunk right here. So yeah, it happens to be the bottom of our zone. So the bottom of our zone is where I think we could go back down to. It's going to be a sketch looking one because if you sell off quickly, okay. But if you can kind of buy time with it and then get to here, boom. Buy time, get boom. Tesla not really showing anything here. Yeah, not able to fully go positive even on the 5 minutes, so not looking that strong from this. AMD really flipped over, went negative. That's a problem. Meta might experience the same thing. Man. I think the 5 minutes got a good chance to kind of build up, grab some more liquidity on the way up. But it's just you gotta know what's happening here as well. It's like, if we start to break through here, I'd be worried, right? Start to use this as resistance again. What I'm more so looking for is that gradual little pullback like this, get down into the meat of it, and get down into this area, and then turn right back up on that 5 minute. That's why I was looking at a 5 minute for a second. It's good to just like kind of reassure yourself sometimes. Be like, there will be pullbacks. There will be 5 minute pullbacks. And now you're seeing that. And you want to see if that is dramatic or if that's just gradual and then starts to turn up. That can make you feel better about your trade going forward. You got to do some things that make you feel good sometimes. You know what I mean? And while trading, you got to do some things that make you feel good by looking at some certain stuff, making sure things are still looking good for your trade. If they're not, you might need to make a decision. But Apple, you're still looking for some kind of strength here. Once I get out of the military, definitely going to buy your course. Thank you, Daniel Lee, and thank you for your service. Appreciate you. And then Nvidia is pretty simple. Seeing if that can curl up on a 2 hour. Hasn't happened yet. Getting some resistance towards the top of our zone. And he says, you are so cruel. Oh, I've kind of been liking this. PCC still holding at higher levels. That CPC ended at 1.24. Damn. May 6th. Remember May 6th? Remember May 6th? That was when we broke out. This is where we called the short squeeze last time. We're hitting levels like that on the CPC. So I think you get the swing here and it's squeeze territory. You're at similar levels on the CPC, the put call ratio there that are saying, hey, we have a lot of puts in this market, even though you're not, I'm seeing a lot of calls too, so it's interesting. Let's watch that 5 minute for a little bit. Hoover setups in the next hour or so. Oh, I'd always just keep my eye on Nvidia. I like this divergence, so you might have one today if this 2 hour sees some positivity. Anything's possible, so you have to make sure to manage trades. But if you get something like that, you're probably crossing up on this MACD. AMC is starting to give it up here. AMC giving it up for free right now. Just no confirmations on 2 hours. Yeah. I do like the Nvidia look. I still like the Tesla look, just not as much as Nvidia now. Because of the weakness that came in. This is a little too weak. Rolling from hell, falling from grace. What was the other one? Google. Google's another one. If I can see positivity in any way here, that could be a solid setup. Solve and second you fall down. Alright, but let's look at 30-minute charts. Still no movement here from volatility. Dollar did rise while the stock market rose. We'll see if that's able to back off. This could be a reaction to the yen as well. Because it's like 2 hour scale, usually you want to see like some good upside here. We have seen that a little bit. So it could be some kind of pullback coming. This can last for a while though. We'll see. High yield growth heading higher. TLT dropping off. Housing sector up as well. So if housing sector sees positivity, usually that means the market will follow. And the market's kind of already following. They're kind of moving at the same time. X trender. Great. She chose Tim Waltz as her running mate. Kamala Harris. All right. Well, we're in trouble. Come on, Nvidia. See a little bit more positivity and we got you. So AMD is giving it up. So we just have to be aware of this happening in the stocks that we're watching right now, like Nvidia. We have to be aware of that happening. The X trender indicator helps with predicting where price is going. Microsoft antitrust in 2000 was the top of the market. April 2000 was the top. Cisco beat Microsoft for 1 day, just like Nvidia. Top is soon, if not already in. And I think we have potential for a lower high scenario still. But we're not out of the woods even here, right? We don't have the best reversal signals from here. But if this is going to behave normally, even as a bear market would, then most likely we still see some kind of bigger pop to convince people that this is a major bottom and we're going to go to all-time highs. Then we see a reaction back up maybe to these areas and then we fall back down. That's really what I'm looking for if it's going to happen soon. If it's not going to happen soon, then we're going to see probably something like this over time, and then maybe it leaks up into earnings. But all right, guys, we are reaching about 10:30 here, so we're reaching the end of the stream. We will be back on later today for the closing hour. Okay, so join us back later today for the last hour of trading. Thank you guys so much for joining today. Like, we have some stuff to get to throughout today, so we have a lot to get to actually. But I just want to make sure to say thank you over and over again for joining me this morning, and I look forward to seeing you this afternoon. Remember, we're putting out a bunch of content today, so it's going to be live stream in the morning, live stream in the afternoon, and then we will be having a YouTube video after hours right before I go to a concert. So I've got a busy day ahead of me. Wish me luck, and I wish you guys nothing but luck for your trades for today. Pay attention to your signals closely. Make sure to trade like water and manage that risk, whether it's position size, however you want to do it, but manage those trades, all right? Manage your risk. Very important in this type of environment because volatility is very, very high. So you want to pay attention if things cross over because that can mean pretty far downside. It can mean pretty far upside. But thank you guys so much for joining today. I look forward to seeing you guys this afternoon, and let's see what stocks do till then. If you guys want to learn a little bit or anyone out there needs a course for you, all those courses are down in the description, 90% off. I highly, highly suggest if you're going to learn from what's happening right now, the technical analysis, the $100 course is going to be the best one for you. But if you want to swing trade, it's down there as well. Thank you guys. Have a great day. I'll see you guys this afternoon. Peace out.